You were very positive last night. I didn't think it was really you on the phone.
I know.
Thought it was an imposter.
You get bad reports,
Weren't
man.
starting any shit. Very positive. You're losing it, man.
All right. Well, my next story after you got off the phone was about changing your tune on Kimbo. So how do you badmouth a guy so much for all this time, and then now you're kind of climbing in bed with him?
I never changed my tune on him. I never changed my mind. I always said the only way this guy would ever get in the UFC is if he went through the Ultimate Fighter. Look it up, boys. It's exactly what I said.
But you've also said he sucks and he has no shot on winning the show.
Yep. And you know what else I say? One way to find out, have him fight. Fedor's the greatest in the world. When he gets here and he fights, we'll find out. We're going to find out if Kimbo's a mixed martial. I know he's a fighter. I know Kimbo's a fighter. The guy fights, he fights. You know, we've seen him fight in the streets. He's had professional mixed martial arts fights. Is he a mixed martial artist? We're going to find out. You know, we're not going to put him against, you know, Tank or, you know, any of the other guys he fought. No disrespect to them, but, you know, Kimbo's going to fight. There's some real good guys here. There's some real guys. So we'll find out. Maybe he wins the fucking thing and I got egg on my face. Wouldn't be the first time. I said Rashad Evans was lazy and probably wasn't going to do anything, and he ends up becoming a world champion. So what the fuck do I know?
But isn't it a no-lose situation for you because you criticize him so much? If he loses and gets blown out in his first fight, you're vindicated, but you also brought a lot of eyeballs to the show to help spotlight your other guy. If he wins, you got another star.
Yeah, I don't think, yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't, I tell you this, I respect him for coming in and doing the Ultimate Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I respect him, you know, and I did talk a lot of shit about him, and he's here to prove himself.
Go through how did it happen? The process. Who contacted who first, and you know how did it work?
God, that's a good question. To be honest with you, I don't know how this whole thing got started, and it was going on for so long. And there was all this speculation of whether, you know, when I was in Miami, was I doing that? Wasn't. The deal was done when I was in Miami. And I was in Miami and he was actually in California. You know, and for the first time in MMA history, I thought we were going to break a story the day it fucking happened, but over here found out somehow. And, you know, and it all got broke yesterday. But it's been a long process. You know, we've been going back and forth. And, you know, people don't get paid on the Ultimate Fighter. They get paid, you know, not a lot of money, and then if they win the contract, they get into the UFC, obviously. If he gets into the UFC, you know, he's got a
You didn't
pretty
give
decent
him a separate contract then, you know, like for appearing on the show? Cause
he's got a contract if he wins the show. He's got a contract to fight in the UFC. And it's a good one. So that's his carrot. That's his, you know, and that's one of the things I respect about him is that he's honestly legitimately trying to get into mixed martial arts and trying to get into the big show. You know, I think that there was a lot of other offers out there for him with other guys. You know, Gary Shaw's out there chirping about he was gonna get into boxing and he'd be big in boxing. Come on, there's no money in boxing unless you're fucking De La Hoya and Mayweather and Pacquiao and guys like that. You know, I think that Kimbo, the people that are around Kimbo, I was actually really impressed with that too. Kimbo's manager is a sharp guy. He's a really sharp guy, and I was really impressed with him. Actually, one of the best guys I've ever dealt with since I've been in this business.
Not a Klingon?
Huh?
Not a Klingon?
No, I think that he's actually done a lot of things for this guy. He's done a lot of things personally out of his own pocket to help this guy get to where he is. And he's a smart guy. He's a really smart guy. And one of the smartest guys I've dealt with since I've been in this business.
Sure. Has Kimbo at any point in this process pulled you aside when it's just you and him and said, "What the fuck, dude? What'd you say that for?"
Never.
No?
He's never said anything. Why'd you talk shit about me? And actually, you know, I did my blog when I released my blog yesterday. I had Elliot go over there by himself and interview him. He said, you know, Dana's talked a lot of shit about you. And he said, yeah, you know, he has, and so have other people. And there's only one way to do that. You know, the only way to you know, success is the best revenge you can get on anybody talking shit about you. So I'm here to succeed. I'm here to win. And his attitude, that was his attitude yesterday when he was here. He was very serious. And it's going to be interesting. Listen, at the end of the day, I respect the fact that the guy came on the show to prove himself. This is the way I said you had to get into the UFC, and this is the way you did it. I don't tell anybody anything. Let me tell you what. The one thing that you'll never hear from any of these guys is Dana White told me to say this or Dana White told me to do that. It doesn't happen.
Well, I phrased it, Pat. I guess I didn't
Yeah.
mean that. I mean, you were.
But I read your article too, where you said you better believe these guys are going to want the ratings off Kimbo Slice, so they'll make sure he fights later on in the show. I don't fuck with that either. I don't tell these guys, hey, listen, let's keep Kimbo around for a while.
Right.
They might draw some ratings, whatever. If Kimbo might get picked to fight Friday. I have no idea what's going to happen. That's between the coaches and the fighters and their camps. I think he got a good reaction. I didn't know what to expect when people saw him, and I thought it was a pretty interesting reaction. I'm sure there's some guys in here that would rather not fight him and have something, whatever. I'm sure there's guys that can't wait to fight him. That's probably who they want to fight first. So I don't know. The crazy thing about this show is, I've seen it happen so many times. We go through the process when we sit down and we evaluate these guys, we interview them, and you hear all the shit they say, and you look at their record of who they fought and whatever their deal is. And then when they get in this house and they get in here, and I always say this every season, when a new season's coming, I'm like, oh fuck man, we gotta go through this again. It's not fun. It's not easy in here. It's crazy. And there's a lot of emotion, and this place is like a fucking pressure cooker. And that's when you really see who's real and who's not, man. Guys fold and crumble, and you see guys get scared. You see guys question whether they really want to do this for a living, and it's pretty crazy.
Without getting into specifics, does Kimbo have the same tough deal that everybody else has in terms of his contract?
Yeah, he has the same tough deal. If he makes it into the UFC, his contract is different. If he makes it into the UFC, his contract is different. A lot fucking different. But, yeah, he came here on the show to fight and win. Just like everybody else. When I tell you. Kimbo is getting zero fucking special treatment. He's not getting anything that anybody else is. And on the flip side, I'm not after Kimbo. I'm not in here, let's make an example of this guy, let's get his ass kicked, let's show the world that this guy's in the realm. He's a contestant like everybody else, coming on the show and trying to win. The only thing I say about him is I respect the fact that he did it.
Sure.
The guy was getting offered money from other people, but I think that he really saw this as an opportunity. If he can do this, he can make some real money.